Hey friends, Ash here with Gents. Hope that you're doing really well. We're quickly approaching the halfway point of the year, and so I figured let's go ahead and take a look at what the top 10 most popular releases for men have been so far. At the beginning of the year, we got hit with a ton of releases all at once. Seemed like every day a new huge release was being announced, and then it slowed down to a trickle, which is where we're at now. So could there be a huge release announced between when I'm filming and when this video actually comes out? Sure, but I don't think it will be out long enough for it to actually crack into the top 10. So let's check it out for the first half of 2022. What are the top 10 most popular fragrances? So we're gonna use Fragrantica for this, like usual. Why Fragrantica? Because you can sort it by most popular and you can put in which year you want, so that's why. Is Fragrantica scientifically accurate? Not really, no. But it'll give you a good idea of what people in the fragrance community are talking about. So I've got Fragrantica pulled up right here. I haven't sorted anything yet, so I don't actually know what the top 10 are. So we're gonna find this out together. Let's do it. 2022. And also, in case you guys are unaware, the rankings that are here in this video as of right now, they'll probably change. As time goes on, the fragrances move around and shift as more people talk about them and vote on them and stuff like that. Well, okay, I can see what they are now. So I'm gonna grab them really quickly so I can show them when we talk about them. All right, got them. Let's do it. Number 10, Valentino Uomo Born in Roma Coral Fantasy. Quite a name. I'd say the biggest tongue twister of any fragrance that's going to be released this year as far as mainstream designers go. Obviously following up on Valentino Uomo Born in Roma and Born in Roma Yellow Dream, also terrible name. This one takes the Valentino Uomo line further and further away from where it started out, which is going to be a bummer to some people because a lot of people preferred the original Valentino Uomo and Valentino Uomo Intense and those flankers to the new Born in Roma line. That being said, Coral Fantasy, actually not that bad of a fragrance. It's the type of scent that'll grow on you if you let it. It has apple, cardamom, geranium, and tobacco as some of the notes in the fragrance, and keeping with the aesthetic, with the idea of the Born in Roma line, it leans very youthful. Number 9, Guy Laroche Drakkar Intense. Yes, a Drakkar fragrance is in the top 10 new releases for the year. That is something I would have never expected. If you told me in 2022 there's going to be a new Guy Laroche Drakkar flanker and it's actually going to crack the top 10 in popularity, even if it's only for the first half of the year, if you told me that, I probably wouldn't believe you. Now, in terms of the scent, I think it smells awesome, especially through the mid. There's this part in the mid where every time I catch a whiff of it, I think it smells just drop dead, sexy, amazing, fantastic, especially when you consider the price point here because it's not an expensive scent. I absolutely love this one the way it smells. The problem that I had with it is the performance was not very good for me. Now that said, I did do the video on the fragrance only a few days after I got it in and I had worn it each day leading up to the review, but the performance was the big letdown. Now I have worn the fragrance since that video and the performance does not seem to be as cataclysmically awful, so that's a good thing. That's a big good thing. For me, this one is one of the better releases of the year. I did a top 5 favorite releases of the year so far video, and this was like an honorable mention. It's possible that by the end of the year, it does crack into the top 10 of my favorite releases, maybe even the top 5, we'll see. Number 8, Gucci Guilty Parfum pour Homme. I do not have as big of a hate on for Gucci Guilty as some people. Some people hate everything Gucci Guilty, period, except for Gucci Guilty Absolute. That one seems to get a pass from a lot of people because of how different the fragrance is. But I don't hate Gucci Guilty as a line. I think Gucci Guilty, the original, Gucci Guilty Black are both very good, easy to wear, fresh fragrances that for a lot of people are going to be an amazing jack of all trades, Swiss Army knife type of scent. Gucci Guilty Parfum, I think, is okay, but I don't really love it, especially when you consider the price point here because at retail, this is not cheap. And I think just for me on a personal level, if I'm trying to get a fragrance that does what this does, I would just go with the original Eau de Toilette. At number 7, it is Light Blue Italian Love. Now, I'm quite a fan of this. I think it smells amazing, but it is very similar to Light Blue Forever. Is there a difference between this and that fragrance? Yes, of course. They're not the exact same, but when you smell them side by side, it's unmistakable how similar they are. A lot of grapefruit in the opening here. That's what's going to tie it in with Light Blue Forever so closely. And the grapefruit here is that more rindy, naturalistic take on the note. Also got bergamot in there, ozonic notes, bit of vetiver. Actually, the note breakdown is really similar to Light Blue Forever. Italian Love is cheaper than Light Blue Forever though, because this is an Eau de Toilette. So at full retail, this costs a little bit less than Forever does. So that's a potential positive there. If you're looking at picking them up at full retail, this one's gonna cost you less. That one I think is a little bit easier to pull off for some people. Some people are going to say it's a little bit smoother, a little bit less aggressive than Light Blue Forever. I like it a lot. Italian Love is a very solid release, but it's so similar to Forever that it's kind of hard to like put it above some fragrances that are maybe doing something more unique. Up next, Narciso Rodriguez for Homme Bleu Noir Parfum. I think it smells awesome because it makes use of iris, and it uses iris in very much the same way as Dior Homme Intense, Valentino Uomo Intense, Gentleman Eau de Parfum, fragrances like that. It is a little more on the powdery side, the iris here. So even though it's similar to Valentino Uomo Intense or Dior Homme Intense or Gentleman Eau de Parfum, like I said, this one is like you took the iris from those fragrances and made it slightly more powdery. Now, people will already say Dior Homme Intense is powdery. Gentleman Eau de Parfum is powdery. Valentino Uomo Intense is powdery. So what are you talking about? Well, the iris in those, yes, has a powdery touch, but to me, it has like a creaminess to it. You know, this sort of decadence to it. And sometimes when there's a lot of powder in an iris type scent, it kind of fuzzies that up a little bit when you smell it. And that's what happens here with Narciso Rodriguez for Homme Bleu Noir Parfum. Comes across to me a little bit more powdery, maybe like a tinge more ambroxany than the Dior Homme Intense and the Valentino Uomo Intense. The opening here lasts milliseconds, so the citrus that you smell when you first spray this on, it goes away pretty much right away, and then it segs into the iris, a little bit of suede and muskiness. Again, kind of a powdery iris, a smooth suede leather, and that's gonna help tie it in a little bit closer to Valentino Uomo Intense. And then you got Tonka in there as well, which again, ties it in with the 3 fragrances I mentioned like 5 times now. So if you like those 3 scents, the Dior, the Givenchy, and the Valentino, you should like this one as well. I would say on the whole, it's not as dark as Valentino Uomo Intense or Dior Homme Intense. So it's a little bit more modern woody with a hint of suede leather and then a powdery iris, a little bit of a fresher take on the Dior Homme Intense, Valentino Uomo Intense DNA. After that, Le Beau Le-Parfum from Jean Paul Gaultier. And this one I had really high hopes for, but it had just a little bit of a weird kind of tinge to it. Not at all an unpleasant fragrance. It's got coconut in here, which you don't see used very often in men's perfumery. But I think if I were going for something with this DNA, I would go for the original Le Beau. I think it's a little bit more approachable, more wearable, easier to pull off, and frankly, just smells a little bit nicer. There was just something about this one as it head through the mid that was off-putting. Something that just didn't sit quite right when you smelled it. It was like something around the edges that just didn't smell very pleasant. It was kind of one of those deals like when you see something and then it can't be unseen. It was like you would smell it, and then every time you'd smell the fragrance, you'd be looking for it. Like, oh, is that weird kind of tinge in there again? Oh. So I'd say of everything I've mentioned so far, the one that let me down the most, at least as of right now, is that one. After that, it is 1 Million Elixir from Paco Rabanne. I would say of everything that we're going to mention today, this is the most divisive one, where you have some people that say, man, 1 Million Elixir is awesome. This stuff gets me noticed. It gets me compliments. It smells amazing. It's mind blowing. It's fantastic. Then you have other people that say, oh, Paco Rabanne is garbage. Everything they make is just overloaded with sweetness, just complete crap. 1 Million Elixir sucks. It is sweet. Like really, really sweet. It leans youthful. It's got kind of a caramel tinge to it, vanilla, kind of caramelly, like this gourmandy sort of edge. I say edge, not really edge, like the whole friggin' thing. With this one, I was whopped in the face with sweetness when I first smelled it. Just smashed right in the nose, my wife as well. And it was one of those deals where you kind of go back and forth. Like, I don't like it, but then I kind of do like it. But I don't, but I do. I think I dislike it, but I keep going back to smell it, so maybe I actually do like it. And as time has gone on, I appreciate the fragrance a lot more. I actually like it a lot more today than I did initially. Kind of one of those things where when you know what you're in for, you know the kind of level of sweetness that you're dealing with, you know what to expect. And then you don't get kind of jolted when you first smell it. And then you can start to appreciate it for the things that the fragrance does really well. So 1 Million Elixir, this one has grown on me. I like it a pretty good amount now. Number 3, we cracked into the top 3, is Dior Homme Sport 2021, 2022. So yeah, if you look on Fragrantica, they call this Dior Homme Sport 2021, but then have it as coming out in 2022, so whatever. I'm just telling you how they have it listed on the website. This one some people did not like. I do like it. I like it a lot. It has a nice green tinge to it. I'm a big fan of green fragrances, so I love that. It's got a nice pop of fresh spice and citrus in the opening, very bright. It's uplifting, it's clean, a nice modern masculine woodsy dry down. It smells good. So Dior Homme Sport 2021, 2022, this is very nice. I like this a lot. I agree. Number 2, Acqua di Gio Eau de Parfum from Giorgio Armani. Not a surprise, not a surprise. I mean, any Acqua di Gio that gets released, you're just about guaranteed that it's gonna be in the top 5 most popular of the year. And this one being the EDP, like the first time that they're kind of saying, here's the original and we're gonna play directly off that into this higher concentration version. You gotta know it's gonna be popular. A more mature take on Acqua di Gio for sure. Again, kind of a green feeling to it that some people probably won't appreciate. I myself like it a lot, but I'm a big Acqua di Gio fan. I still do like Profundo a little bit more than the Eau de Parfum. I think it's a little more versatile for me, but this is a great scent, great flanker. Acqua di Gio Eau de Parfum, number 2, makes total sense. And then number 1, Gentleman Eau de Parfum Reserve Privee. Iris once again. Iris kind of making a comeback, really. It's funny, Dior is going away from Iris. You see that with Dior Homme 2020 with the new Dior Homme Sport here. But then you have Givenchy leaning into Iris. You've got Narciso Rodriguez leaning into Iris, and you see it pop up in a bunch of different fragrances. Le Beau Le Parfum, Iris in there as well. I mean, if you go through and you look at some of the bigger releases over the past few years, you'll see that note creeping in more and more and more. This one has a nice little boozy touch to it as well. Not overwhelmingly boozy, but just enough, just enough. And it quickly has become one of, if not my favorites in the entire line. In my first impressions, I liked it a lot. But then as time went on and I wore the fragrance more, it just grew on me more and more and more, like an amplified version of what happened with 1 Million Elixir, where you smell it more and you can kind of start to key in on little things that you missed the first time through or the second time through. And then it's like the whole fragrance is opened up for you and you know what to expect, you know what's there, you know what to look for, and you just appreciate it so much more. So Gentleman Eau de Parfum Reserve Privee, number 1 as of right now. We'll see if that holds through the end of the year. Now, just really quickly, I want to look at some of the other ones that were just outside the top 10, just to read them off to you guys. Club de Nuit Intense Pure Parfum, Bad Boy Cobalt, The Scent Le Parfum, The Most Wanted Parfum, kind of interesting to see that outside the top 10, I mean. YSL L'Homme Eau de Parfum, Invictus Platinum, Polo Blue Parfum, all of those outside the top 10. So there we have it. The top 10 most popular as of right now when I'm filming this video, and it will definitely change by the end of the year. Let me know of these 10 which you think actually deserve it, which ones you think are the best of the bunch, and also let me know which ones you think are going to drop out. So as the year goes on, does Drakkar Intense stay in the top 10? Hopefully. Does Gucci Guilty Parfum, does 1 Million Elixir move up or move down? Let me know. All right, guys, thank you for hanging with me. Thanks for your support. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.